At 88 years old, I found myself lying awake one night, my heart beating faster than usual, not from any illness, but from a sudden realization. It hit me that so many of us, people like you and me in our golden years, go through our days hoping nothing catastrophic happens. We rely on canes, grab bars, and the kindness of neighbors. Yet the moment something goes wrong, we're often left waiting, anxious, and unsure whether help will arrive in time. I remembered a close call a few years back. I stumbled getting out of the shower, and for a terrifying moment, I couldn't regain my footing. Although I managed to steady myself, the shock of that near fall never left me. That night, as I lay there reflecting, I knew I had to do something. I wanted a safety net that wouldn't strip away my independence, but rather preserve it, ensuring that if I needed urgent help, I wouldn't be helpless. That urge led me to create my own emergency response system, one that serves as a lifeline without feeling like a burden. A lot of people think, I'm fine. I don't need any fancy devices. I've lived this long on my own. But I've seen firsthand how quickly a life can change when a simple accident spirals into something more serious. I've witnessed friends who lost their sense of freedom because they feared that next slip or tumble. Often, they end up confined to living situations they never would have chosen otherwise, simply because the risk of staying alone seems too high. The thought of losing autonomy can be more distressing than the thought of a broken bone. We all treasure our independence. Nobody wants to feel like they need a babysitter. Yet without a reliable system in place, one frightening incident can upend everything. In the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through 6 life-saving features I built into my personal emergency response system. Each of these features tackles a misunderstanding about how to stay safe without feeling smothered. If you stay until the end, you'll discover the most surprising element, something nearly no one considers, yet it can make the biggest difference in not only surviving an emergency, but thriving afterward. Imagine moving through your day with a gentle peace of mind, knowing that if something unexpected happens, there's an immediate plan in place. It's like having a caring friend available at all hours, but without intruding on your daily life. What I'm sharing with you isn't just my personal opinion. Doctors and specialists are now recognizing the crucial role these devices can play in preserving senior autonomy, and I've been following the work of a team that studies how seniors thrive well into their 90s. My motivation was simple. I wanted something that would protect me and my loved ones, no matter where we were. Over time, it became clear that these features could help people well beyond my circle of friends. Now, before we dive in, I have a small request. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any future discussions that might help you maintain your independence even longer. And if you find this video helpful, let me know by typing 1 in the comments. If there's anything you don't like or would prefer me to explain differently, type 0, and I'll do my best to address it. Hearing from you is what keeps me motivated to share more. Let's begin with the first of the 6 life-saving features. It might challenge the way you've always thought about security, but bear with me. I've seen it make a world of difference for people who initially swore they'd never rely on any kind of emergency gadget. The first essential feature is the built-in GPS tracking component. Most folks assume that a simple push-button alert is all you need. You press it, someone calls your home or your cell, you confirm you need help, and an ambulance is sent. But there's a hidden problem here. What if you're not at home when an emergency occurs? Or what if you can't speak to tell them where you are? Many seniors mistakenly think they'll only need help at home. Yet countless situations happen in parking lots, grocery stores, or even while traveling to see grandkids. Take Margaret, 79, for example. She was determined never to slow down, still driving to her weekly bridge games and picking up groceries for neighbors. One afternoon in a shopping center parking lot, she felt a sudden wave of dizziness. Her heart raced, her palms got sweaty, and she knew something wasn't right. She fumbled for her phone but couldn't even remember which pocket it was in. Thankfully, she had a small device strapped around her wrist. My device, which she'd agreed to test out for a month. Because it was equipped with GPS, when she pressed the button, the monitoring center immediately knew her location. They sent an ambulance without requiring her to say a word. The surprising truth is that emergencies can strike anywhere, And the fear of getting stuck away from home often locks seniors into a smaller life. They avoid outings, fear traveling, and even skip family gatherings. By insisting on a GPS-based system, you give yourself the freedom to keep living. Think of it as a seatbelt. You don't plan to get in an accident, but you wear it every time you drive because you never know. So, the practical tip: make sure any emergency solution you use has a GPS function that can pinpoint your location quickly. That might mean a pendant, a bracelet, or even a small device you carry in your pocket. The emotional benefit is huge, the comfort of knowing you can step out of your home without stepping into uncertainty. You remain autonomous, continuing the activities you love, like shopping, volunteering, or enjoying a meal with friends, without that nagging "what if" thought in the back of your mind. Here's a slogan I've adopted for this feature: take your freedom with you, because that's what GPS tracking essentially does. It gives you that invisible safety net wherever you go, allowing you to maintain an active, fulfilling life. Moving on to the second feature, which is often misunderstood: 24/7 monitoring with real human interaction. A lot of companies brag about automated call centers, but too many seniors think that once they hit the button, they'll be greeted by a friendly, well-trained individual on the other end. The reality is often a maze of robotic menus or outsourced operators who don't fully understand the urgency of a senior's call. Why does this matter? Because time is everything in an emergency. If you fall and can't get up, or if you're experiencing a stroke or heart attack, every second counts. And if you're greeted by a machine that asks you to press a series of numbers, that's precious time slipping away. Even if you reach a person, you might be talking to someone who's juggling multiple calls and might not be specifically trained to deal with senior emergencies. The truth is that what you really need is a dedicated monitoring center staffed round the clock by folks who specialize in senior care crises. Picture Raymond, 83, who once called from his bedside because he felt chest pains during the night. Thanks to the system's live monitoring, the operator recognized his shortness of breath and immediate distress, contacted emergency services right away, and stayed on the line with him, talking calmly until the paramedics arrived. If it had been an automated system or a poorly trained staff member, that precious reassurance and possibly those precious minutes could have been lost. The big misconception is that any monitoring center is good enough. The surprising reality: specialized senior-focused services have protocols designed to handle everything from mobility issues to medication errors. That's the difference between feeling like just another caller and feeling truly cared for. It might cost a bit more, but can you really put a price on that kind of peace of mind? So the practical advice here is to always ask about the quality of the monitoring service. Does the company provide specialized training? Are they staffed 24/7 by human operators who know how to handle senior emergencies? Look for systems or packages labeled Senior Care Specialized rather than generic ones. Emotionally, this feature grants a profound sense of security. You don't just have a gadget, you have a guardian angel on standby, someone who will answer the call whether it's 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning. That kind of support reinforces your independence because you're not left guessing whether anyone is paying attention. If you found these first two features helpful so far, please comment with the number 2 below to let me know you're still here watching and that this conversation resonates with you. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Your support means a lot, and it helps me keep creating content focused on enhancing our independence and well-being. Now let's talk about the third feature, automatic fall detection. Most people believe that pressing a button is simple enough. If I fall, I'll press it, they say. But what happens if you're alone and you black out, or you're too dazed to press anything? This isn't a rare scenario. Many seniors experience fainting spells, or they hit their head so hard during a fall they can't even process what's happening. Here's the misconception: I'll always be conscious enough to call for help. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. The surprising truth is that sophisticated fall detection technology can recognize a sudden, strong impact and automatically send a distress alert, even if you can't speak or move. Consider Lydia, 78, a vibrant woman who loved tending her flower garden. One morning, she slipped on wet grass. She hit her head on the edge of a planter and was knocked unconscious. No one was around. Her husband had gone to get groceries. In that terrifying window of time, her device's sensors detected the abrupt change in elevation and movement, then triggered an alert. Paramedics arrived while she was still out cold. Thanks to prompt medical attention, she recovered quickly and was able to resume her gardening hobby within a few weeks. If she'd relied on physically pressing a button, she might have laid there indefinitely. The practical step here: if possible, choose a system that has built-in accelerometers or gyroscopes capable of detecting a fall. Sometimes it's a pendant, sometimes it's a wristband. Check that it's comfortable for everyday wear. If you remove it because it's bulky or annoying, it does you no good. From an emotional standpoint, this technology can erase the nagging fear many of us have about being found too late. That fear keeps us from cooking elaborate meals, rearranging furniture, or taking walks in the garden. With a reliable fall detection system, you can continue doing the things that bring you joy without the overshadowing dread of an unassisted fall. Moving on, the fourth feature is medication management integration. At first glance, you might wonder, what does medication management have to do with emergencies? The assumption is that an emergency response system is just about falls or heart attacks. But many seniors face crises when they mix up their pills, skip a dose, or accidentally double up. It's commonly believed that as long as you have a little pill box, you're all set. But that's a risky oversimplification. A significant number of hospital admissions for seniors stem from medication errors, taking too much, too little, or mixing medications that shouldn't be combined. A truly life-saving emergency system can include built-in reminders or pair with your pill schedule. Some solutions can even detect if you've opened your medication dispenser at the correct time. If you haven't, you'll get an alert, perhaps a beep, a call, or even a text message to a family member. Look at Howard, 82, who has a strict regimen for his heart condition. He takes 4 different pills at various times of day. One evening, he got distracted by a phone call from an old friend and missed his nightly medication. His integrated system noticed that his pill dispenser hadn't been accessed at 8 p.m., as usual, so it sent a gentle reminder alert. He managed to avoid a potentially dangerous spike in his blood pressure simply because the system recognized an abnormal pattern. The surprising insight here is that medication errors can be as catastrophic as a physical accident. A single oversight can lead to severe complications or an extended hospital stay. By linking medication monitoring to an emergency response system, you can ensure that if your routine is off, someone or something will notice. The practical action step is to look for a device or service that syncs with your medication schedule. It might be an app, a digital dispenser, or a wearable that vibrates when it's time for your next dose. This is about more than preventing confusion. It's about safeguarding your overall autonomy. When you're consistently managing your meds correctly, you feel better, stay healthier, and drastically reduce the risk of crisis episodes that could compromise your ability to live independently. If you're still with me and finding these insights valuable, please comment the number 4 below to let me know. And once again, if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so now. Every new subscriber reminds me that there are people out there who truly benefit from these discussions. Let's move to the 5th feature: two-way communication capability directly on the device. Many seniors believe their phone is enough. I have a cell phone in my pocket, they say, so if I need help, I'll just call. The hidden flaw here is that emergencies often happen so unexpectedly you can't always reach a phone. Or you might be in a situation where your phone is out of reach. Perhaps it's on the kitchen counter while you've fallen in the next room. The surprising truth is that an effective emergency response device should let you speak to a responder the moment you press the alert or the device detects a fall. Imagine you collapse but can still speak, or you smell smoke in your living room. If you have a pendant or wristband equipped with a speaker and microphone, you can communicate vital information immediately, no fumbling around for a phone. This made a huge difference for Joan, 86, who experienced a severe dizzy spell while rearranging books in her study. She pressed her wearable button, and even while lying on the floor, managed to talk to the operator through the device itself. She explained how she felt, and the dispatcher quickly understood she might be having a mini-stroke. An ambulance was dispatched right away. If she had relied solely on a phone that was left charging in the kitchen, she might have waited too long for help. Here's the practical step. When comparing emergency systems, ask specifically about two-way voice capabilities. Some devices will connect you to a call center, but you have to rely on a base station or your cell phone to carry on the conversation. Others have a speaker and microphone built right in, letting you talk hands-free, even if you can't stand up or reach for anything else. The emotional payoff is immense. You not only get immediate reassurance, hearing another human voice can be profoundly comforting in crisis moments, but you also improve your odds of receiving the right care promptly. This two-way communication can mean the difference between an ambulance arriving with relevant instructions and a delayed response that wastes critical time. Finally, the sixth feature is something most people never even consider: a community support option tied into the device. A lot of seniors believe that if they have an emergency system, it should only call paramedics or family. That makes sense at first, but the surprising truth is that sometimes the crisis isn't serious enough for an ambulance, yet you do need help. Maybe your car battery dies at night, or you've locked yourself out of the house. These small incidents can quickly escalate into big problems, especially if you're alone and don't have immediate assistance. Having a help request function that loops in nearby volunteers, neighbors, or a circle of friends can be a game changer. For instance, some systems integrate with local community support networks. You can press a different type of button or selection, and a nearby volunteer or friend who has agreed to participate will be notified. This doesn't replace 911, it supplements it. Consider Marie, 77, who recently moved to a new city to be closer to her daughter. She didn't know many neighbors yet, and her daughter worked long hours. One night, she heard strange noises outside and felt unsafe. It wasn't an emergency that warranted calling 911, but she pressed her device's community support button, which alerted 2 local volunteers. Within minutes, her phone rang, with a friendly voice offering to come by and check that everything was okay. That small interaction prevented what could have been a terrifying evening spent alone, wondering if she was in danger. The practical takeaway? Find out if your emergency system offers layers of help, one for immediate medical crises and another for everyday issues that still require assistance. The emotional benefit is tremendous because it nurtures a sense of belonging and connection. You're not just relying on paramedics or distant relatives. You have local support you can count on. This can be the deciding factor that keeps you feeling truly autonomous rather than isolated. Because we've just covered all 6 life-saving features, I'd love to see who's still here and fully engaged. If that's you, please comment the number 6 below. It always brings a smile to my face to know how many of you stick with me through to the end. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so. Each subscriber motivates me to continue sharing tips and insights that can make a tangible difference in the quality of our lives. Now let's bring everything together. Looking back, we've discovered how a system with GPS tracking frees us to go anywhere without fearing we won't be found if something goes wrong. We learned how 24/7 specialized monitoring ensures there's a knowledgeable, caring human at the other end, no matter when or where an emergency happens. Automatic fall detection can literally save your life if you're unconscious or disoriented, while medication management integration guards against slip-ups that could land you in the hospital. Two-way communication capability allows you to speak your needs instantly, even if you can't reach for a phone. And a community support option helps in those less critical but still scary moments. Each of these features is designed to tackle a different common danger or misconception. Put them all together, and you have a robust safety net that supports your lifestyle, rather than restricting it. What would life look like if you knew that in any situation, at home, out shopping, or simply feeling uncertain? Help could be summoned with the touch of a button or even automatically. This is the kind of peace of mind that doesn't confine you. It sets you free. But remember, urgency is key. One of the most common mistakes is waiting until after a near tragedy to take action. If you wait until after you've fallen or experienced a health scare, you might already be dealing with long recovery times, insurance headaches, or a painful loss of confidence that can be tough to rebuild. The time to act is before something happens, not after. I want you to picture yourself living a day under this new layer of protection. You wake up and maybe you do some gentle stretches. You feel a sense of comfort knowing your device is there if anything goes wrong. You take a walk around the neighborhood without worrying about your phone's battery or whether someone would know where to find you if you feel faint. At lunch, you get a simple reminder for your medication, making sure you stay on track. Then in the evening, you curl up with a good book, free from that lingering anxiety that can creep in when you're alone at night. If something does go awry, you press a button, or in the case of a fall, the system triggers help on its own. It's like adding a layer of gentle support around your life, letting you do the things that give you joy, purpose, and independence. Which of these 6 features resonated with you the most? Take a moment to think about your specific situation. Maybe you're most worried about falling, or maybe you've had issues organizing your medications. Perhaps the idea of having community support nearby makes you breathe a little easier. I encourage you to make a small first step toward implementing at least that one feature. It might be researching devices online, talking to your doctor or pharmacist, or asking a tech-savvy relative to help you compare options. I also want to extend an invitation to share your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing you learned today that you plan on using in your own life? Maybe you discovered you want that GPS function to preserve your freedom of movement, or you realized fall detection is more important than you thought. Your reflections matter, not just to me, but to everyone else reading. We learn from each other's experiences, and it reminds us we're not alone on this journey. If you found this conversation valuable, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. It could be a friend, a sibling, or even one of your children who worries about your safety. The more we spread this knowledge, the more of us can enjoy our later years without the weight of constant fear. Remember, you have the power to protect your independence. Growing older doesn't mean giving up on living life fully. It simply means being smart enough to prepare for the unexpected. Thanks for spending your time with me today. I'm proud of you for taking these steps to safeguard your autonomy and well-being. Let's continue taking bold, confident strides into the future. Because life doesn't stop at 65, 75, or even 85. It just keeps offering new challenges and new joys. And with the right support in place, you can embrace every single one.